Hey everybody, thanks for joining me again tonight. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. I've got a lot of questions from people on that, so I'm going to try to solve this by doing a simple watering thing for people that don't have a lot of land. You don't want to tear up your yard. Maybe you want to do something on your balcony or something like that. These are real easy, simple, real low maintenance, but they grow your vegetables and your fruit, whatever, very, very well. So let's get started. Okay, what we're going to do here is we've got a 5-gallon bucket. No sponsor. So we're just going to show a 5-gallon bucket. And this is going to be our planter. But what we're going to do is we're going to create a self-wicking planter that it'll have a water reservoir down in the bottom, and the water will wick up. It'll also have an air chamber, and that air chamber will be able to go in and air prune the roots of your plant. I'll show you as we build this one, but this is what we're looking for right here. Okay, this is a pepper plant that when I planted it, it was probably about this tall right here. And I would say in probably about 3 or 4 days, it's up to there. You can see the new growth coming on. This one's really doing good, taking off. And the water or the soil is moist, but you don't have to water from the top anymore. Now these 5-gallon buckets, you will have to water probably every 3 days. I'll show you a larger one that we're doing, and that one you could probably water once a week. All right, let's get started. So this right here is going to be our water reservoir. Deluxe mixed nuts, sea salt. Emptied it out, washed it all out. You're going to save the lid. And what we're going to do is we're going to drill some holes both in the bottom, not the bottom, but in the side of the bottom down here, towards the bottom. On all 4 sides. This is going to allow the water to seep out into our soil. We're going to drill 4 holes around the top also, which is going to allow our air to get into the roots. So we're just going to come right into the top there, go right around the rim and do the same thing. Okay, once you've got our holes drilled there, then what we're going to do is, see, this is going to sit down inside our bucket. Now, knowing the height of this is going to be right there, we want to drill a hole in the side of this 5-gallon bucket about an inch or so below the top of this, which will be just below those holes that we dug, or that we drilled right in the side. And this is going to be an overflow. That's going to be the overflow, so that when we got this full up to the water, it's going to seep out here. You're not going to be able to put any more water in it because it's just going to continue to go out. But your water reservoir will be down at the bottom. This will hold water, and there won't be any soil in it. Now we're going to drill a hole in the top of this to receive our PVC pipe. And you notice that this is cut on an angle, because when this sits down in there, you want the water to be able to come out. If it sits flat, you're just going to fill up just this tube right here. So this will go down inside this, inside, and we'll put that inside. And all right, so I've got a hole saw bit. This one's going to be a little bit bigger than our pipe that we want, so we might have to do, I brought out some silicone that we can fill that in, so we don't want soil to go down inside that. So we're just going to drill a hole right on this side. one trick that I learned about drilling those holes in plastic is if you put the saw in reverse and cut through it that way, it won't rip and tear as much. You'll get a cleaner cut. Okay, so now we can screw this on. You see that this pipe fits right down in there. Okay, but there is a gap. So we're going to fill it up with some silicone right around the side. We're not really trying to make it a watertight. We just want to be able to keep dirt, soil from going down in there. So we'll let this dry. As far as my potting soil goes for this bucket, this is some that I've had already for another project. And what I like to add in there, because you want this to be light and fluffy, that it will whisk up the water. So what I add in there is some peat moss. This is black gold sun-grow peat moss. We'll just put some of that in here, and you can see that it's really light and fluffy. And so this will mix down in there. That'll help with our potting soil. Okay, and then we've got just a little bit left of this potting soil. We'll go ahead and mix in there. Miracle Grow Garden All-Purpose potting soil. Okay. We'll just take a shovel, mix that around in. Now we'll just take that and we'll fill up our bucket. I'll just take a scoop and we'll just keep adding. Scoop. Now all you're going to do is put in some fertilizer. This is I think it's 16-8-12 or the 3, and then I've got some mineral salt in there, and we're just going to put this over the top, and then you're going to work it down into the soil. Once you got that all in and you planted your plants, as you see, we've got our tomato plant in here. It's doing really, really well. And we've got some flowers to keep some bugs away. Now, the one more thing that I'm adding to this is this little float right here that goes inside the pipe. This I actually have to give credit to someone else I saw on the internet that they had. It'll indicate how much water you have in there. And so what I've done, this is simply a piece of pool noodle cut down to size and a skewer. Now, the longer the skewer, the better, because you're talking a 5-gallon bucket. So when your water reservoir, if you look at your hole on the side right there, you're going to be sitting down there like this. It's not going to be sticking up as high when you drop this in there, but it'll kind of indicate where your water level is, and you'll know when the water goes down and this goes down that you need to come out and fill it back up. So that's a pretty clever little thing. I thought was pretty good. So now these self-wicking tubs, and when we did them in the 5-gallon buckets, but this is what I'm doing most of mine in, is these big old tubs. These are from a local rancher. These were mineral tubs that they put out for their cattle. And when they're done, I got a bunch of them from him. And this is drain pipe right here. 4-inch drain pipe. So that's going to be our water reservoir. It's got cuts in it and that, holes that allow the water to go in there. But what we got to do is we got to stop soil from going in both ends, and we'll cover it down there. So we're going to put a landscape fabric in here to cover that all up, and our pipe will go down in there in an angle so that it can fill it up, and then we'll fill this up with potting soil, and it'll self-wick. These will take probably watering about a week. So every week you come out and fill up the tube with water until it comes out the side hole, and you're done. This thing will be there. You won't have weeds. You won't have to worry about it, and your vegetables will just grow. In a larger blue bucket, this is one we've done here. You got your filler pipe in the back there. So, and then your plants all out front, and your water reservoir will just soak it up.